Well, no one knows better than journalists how difficult it can be to get information from the government, and it's information that's supposed to be public. In a recent Free Press column, Stephen wrote about the issues that are preventing complete government transparency for journalists and the public at large. For example, some agencies charge outrageous fees to deliver freedom of information requests. So there has to be an easier way to get answers from the government. All right, so when we think about FOIA, we usually think about it affecting journalists and lawyers and whatnot. So Stephen, give us an idea of why everyone should really be concerned about what kind of access we have to documents.
Well, I mean, the people own the information. I mean, that's the simplest answer. Citizens sponsor the government and own the information that the government has. It's not asking for something from somebody else. It's asking for something that's yours, and the law says you ought to be able to get it. Journalists and lawyers, you know, we have pretty deep pockets generally to be able to pay for, you know, not just the fees, but also litigation to challenge the fees. Right. And things like that. But your ordinary citizen who's just trying to find out something about property records or about schools or things like that doesn't have those resources. And so this has become a way to just deny people information by saying, if you want it, you have to pay X, and if people can't afford it, then they're out of luck.
But there have been some changes, though, now to the fee structure.
There have. The bills that passed last year that originally were pretty strong got watered down a little bit in the lame duck negotiations, but we did get the fees capped at I think 10 cents a page for copies. That's still quite a bit if you're asking for a lot. I think it should be free. It's your information. Why are you paying more than your taxes to get information that you own? But it's progress. I mean, we made some.
Why are they
steps.
copying documents anyway? Why aren't they downloading?
Sending it electronically. Right.
The Mackinac Center's got a lawsuit now against the Liquor Control Commission for charging. They wanted to charge $1,500 to download onto a thumb drive information that was already in their system. It was a button push, and that was clearly using the fee as an obstacle to releasing the information. And it's, you know, we've got a transparency problem at every level. It's not just releasing information and releasing documents. The University of Michigan, you all have a lawsuit against the University of Michigan, the most arrogant public body in the state, big surprise, but they believe, the Board of Regents believes it has the right to meet in private whenever it feels like it.
So you're talking about the Open Meetings Act.
Well, it's all part and parcel. That they're, you know, that what they do, we have no business seeing, even though they are public employees paid by the taxpayers and working for the public.
Is there some protection, though, for government agencies from people who are, you've mentioned this before, Nolan, overzealously going after and asking for things in almost a nuisance sort of way? Yeah,
well, I mean, there needs to be, you know, you got to consider that, and there needs to be some balance that people who abuse FOIA or Open Meetings Act to try to make themselves pests or whatever need to be dealt with. But that's really the minority. I mean, that gets trotted out a lot by government officials as the reason that these fees exist. If you compare, I think, the number of people doing that to the number of just ordinary people and journalists asking for information, there's no comparison.
We should have to go through the FOIA process for most of this stuff. The thing, it becomes for some government bodies and for some agencies, anytime you ask for information, they want a FOIA.
Right.
And, you know, that's absurd. If the information is there and it's public information, you should have access to it.
All right, so the fight on that continues.